Hello, you guys. Oh my goodness. Thank you for being here. And yeah, sorry I was a couple minutes late. It's been quite the day here, you guys. Hey Punksy, hey Woofy, hey Fiddle-dee-dee, hey Barbie, Little Bit, Aries, True Crime Snoopy, hey JC, Luana, West Virginia Holler Girl, Tammy V, Strange Exchange. Let's see. Spencer, hello. Thank you guys for being here. There's my lady. Hey, Steph. Star, hello. Let's see. I think I got through most. Hey, Bella. If I missed you guys, I apologize. Hey, Irvin. Hey, Shar. Hey, K-Braze. Pink Butterfly. How are you guys? Hey, Judge and Jury. Nanny of 3. Hey, Sons. Camillo. Today, I had to take my oldest to the doctor. So it's been, a day here. But there's, again, lots of stuff to talk about. And one thing I'm going to talk about is about our very own special little Miss Jen Lou. She did some pretty interesting detective work, and I want to talk about it. Hey, Jan. Hey, Violet. Hey, Princess. Hey, Jane Doe. Hey, Marla from Cincinnati. Hey, Dave. Nadie. Hey, Violet. Okay, so let's get right into it. There's been a couple things that have come out today. Well, several family interviews. They've interviewed on a couple of different stations. There's been one thing that I want to watch with you guys. I just found the article. I haven't watched it. Camille Vasquez commenting on Bryan's defense. Just some interesting little odds and ends and updates. Hey, Lenny. Hey, Brandy Wine. And then the other Brandy underneath you, Brandy Dandy. Tammy, I'm really happy that you're here too. Thank you for being here. And yeah, you guys are the best. I swear I have the best chat on the tubes. So let's see. I think we will start looking at some of the pictures, then we'll go into videos, and then we're going to go into the articles because I've got all of it. So let me scroll back up to the top because you guys know the drill. I'm always sending things to myself of what I want to talk about with you guys. And it started at 3 o'clock this morning with this interview with Steve Gonsalves, which, like I said, we're going to do the photos and stuff first and then get to the videos. Let's see. Okay, so one of the first things that I wanted to show you guys and that I thought would be worth chatting about, let's see if it will load here. Hey, Crazy Mama. Hey, Mystic. Hey, Shabanae. Thank you guys for being here. Hey, TF and Jay. Okay, so you guys remember we had talked about this in the past. Ethan worked for a place called Tulip Valley Farm. They had posted this yesterday. I just grabbed it today. It's what it says 1 day ago. It says, with the airing of the 48 Hours episode about tragic murders at the University of Idaho, we've had some inquiries about purchasing the Ethan Smile Tulip Bulb Mix. Ethan Smile and the Forever Sisters Mix will be available for purchase through our website, Being Built As You Read, later this spring. We'll provide more details, dates, costs, and shipping here on Facebook, Instagram, and the newsletter. Proceeds from these sales, the bulbs will support Ethan Smile and Forever Sisters Community Memorial Garden and scholarship funds in Ethan's name. So they're not really making a profit. They're going to sell a mix of different bulbs in honor of Ethan and sisters. I'm assuming that's in reference to Kaylee and Maddie. Where did it go? Hey, Angelina. Hey, Woofy. Hey, Mallory. Yay. you guys. Oh my gosh. I've gotten booted. Hold on one sec. You guys, I've been booted. I am so sorry. I don't know what happened. I had to come in on my phone and I accidentally entered as I was trying to get the case off. It was a whole thing. My internet, there's nothing wrong with my internet. Something is going on with StreamYard on the laptop. So give me just a moment. I am so sorry. I cannot believe this. We are a live show, though, so this kind of thing does happen. Okay, now it's working. Okay, so I'm going to join back on the computer. I am so sorry, you guys. Let me see. Okay, I am here. The computer's working again. I don't know what happened. Oh yeah, you like my Tupac shirt? Oh my God, I am so sorry. Okay. Hey Kib Kitty, hey Marla, hey Poetic Justice. I feel bad for the people that rewatch too because they're good. I don't know. I'm just sorry. Thank you, Kim. Thank you guys for being so awesome. Thank you, Lori. Okay, let's go back to what I was going to share with you guys. There is a lot, and I don't think I could have done it from my phone, so I'm happy the computer's working again. Let's see. Okay, so we talked about the tulips. I would be interested in getting that mix myself. Here's just a couple posts and things I wanted to show you, and there are a couple Twitter ones as well. I am so sorry about that. Oh my gosh. Okay, so this person posted, my little sister just had her first day at WSU. Her criminal justice teacher informed the class that yes, Bryan was indeed his teacher's assistant last semester and was supposed to be his TA again this semester for her class. He told the class to be prepared for the press coming during the trial as the updates unfold to interview him or maybe others as they want a glimpse of what's going on in his classroom. He said he was interviewed by the media at his home already and has also been called a few times. They will be discussing the case in class, which I don't think is a huge surprise. I'd be more shocked if they did. I'd love to hear what the professor says about him. So if I have any information, I will share it with you guys. So I thought that was kind of interesting. Let me see. This just cracked me up and I had to show you. I keep seeing people calling Bryan Enton News Daddy. Here is a post about his. Okay, so remember we talked about the post in the medical forum. I wasn't actually 100% sure on how those were obtained. I know now that they were obtained by using his email. And the person who originally had told me about him was Mallory from over at Allegedly with Brittany Jays, and then Brittany as well. So let's see. Sorry. This is just like a person who also experiences this. And they made a post that said he's night blind, which I thought this was so interesting considering how everything took place. I went through the 102 pages of BK's post on the Tapatalk forum. There are some really interesting things. He got MRI scans and had a neurologist, but most interestingly, Bryan is night blind. I have it too. So Nyctalopia refers to night blindness or difficulty of the eye in visualizing under dim light or at night. Could explain why he wouldn't see Dylan. I don't know. It's just, a thought. It's due to the eye's inability to adapt quickly from lightness to darkness. It makes sense why he did not use the motorway on his way home, but rather the country lanes. I can't see when people on the motorway drive in my direction, and my eyes can't adjust after seeing the light. I have to say, I can't even find my way around in my own house if there is not much light. Who thinks the defense will dive straight into this and say he couldn't have done it and probably come up with some nonsense explanation as to why the car was seen? I hope law enforcement can see the driver of the car on the videotapes. I hope so too. Let me check on you guys. Hey, Pink Butterfly. I cannot believe that booted me like that, y'all. I am so sorry. That just, makes me mad. The professor writes 100 books on serial killers and is shook when Bryan is arrested. Okay, let's continue because there's a lot of interesting stuff. I really like this account on Twitter, We the People, but they posted the University of Washington had their family weekend the same weekend as the Moscow murders. Maybe some sleuthers can find out if Bryan's dad was in Pennsylvania with the Pennsylvania trash DNA was in town that weekend. So the fall family weekend in 2022 is November 11th through the 13th, and all WSU Pullman departments, colleges, and organizations are invited to submit events. It's a great way to connect with families, alumni, donors, and other members of the extended family. Events are held throughout the weekend and can include a variety of activities. Yeah, I did. I thought I saved the thing, but I thought that was really interesting as well. Here, Jennifer, this is just another screenshot I took to show you guys. Jennifer Coffindaffer talking about the Papa Roger account. I had not seen this particular comment from Papa Roger, so I thought that was interesting. It says the killer lived alone. Okay, crazy mama. Okay, let me see. I also screen recorded this really great visual that I want to show you guys. So I have sent it through, but I don't know that it went all the way through. So I'm going to resend that. And then let's keep going. So these are just little odds and ends from around the web. Now, next we're going to do Twitter because we have a couple little posts there. And then we're going to get into Camille Vasquez, some of the family interviews and that stuff. So this was Jennifer Coffindaffer on Twitter. I think it has a video with it, right? Okay. Social media relentlessly continues to go after Dylan. I hope it lets up. I hope people use their platforms to highlight her vulnerability instead of indicating her for being complicit. Fear has consequences. She will likely forever regret her inaction. So let's check out this little clip, which has Jennifer Coffindaffer in it. Let me check on you guys too. Hey, Kay. Hey, Charlotte. What is happening with our video? The video is playing. Oh, right here. Really? Today is just not my day with the internet, you guys. What in the world? Well, I'm going to grab our next little thing and then we can come back to it. Oh, here is a photo. I thought this was kind of interesting. This is a photo of his dad cleaning up his home after the police raid. And is that broken glass on the door, I suppose? We know, I guess that was the tape they were referring to in the beginning over the door because it was broken. Remember, they said after they did have to break glass and windows. Michael Kohberger has been spotted cleaning up after the police raid at his home to arrest Bryan. Oh, thank you, Kay. Thank you. Green Gables forever. Internet has been off the whole week. My internet has been acting up today. I mean, it completely booted me when we first started to get talking about all of this. They broke a lot of his parents' windows. They broke the glass during the raid. Wow. That's crazy, isn't it? Must be sun flares, as CDT had problems with the Wi-Fi too. Okay. let's see. I think our little video's ready. Let's go over here.
And in Idaho, authorities investigating the quadruple murder case are
Thank
puzzled
you,
as
Kay,
to why
again.
the victim's surviving roommate waited 8 hours to call police after seeing a masked figure walk past her in the home that night. Former FBI agent Jennifer Coffindeffer joins me now. Jennifer, good morning to you.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
No problem. So what do you make of this? What are your thoughts on the fact that the roommate waited 8 hours after she saw this alleged killer?
Well, I think she was completely frozen in fear, and that is judging from the affidavit where that is exclaimed. And I can tell you from somebody who has faced myself, the worry of being killed, that you do freeze. That is a normal response to either freeze or flee. And so she had a normal response to this, the trauma, the stress of seeing this.
Thank you guys for telling me that I was muted. Thank you, crazy mama. Oh my God, what a day. Thank you. I love you and I appreciate that so much. So what I was just saying quickly, Jennifer Coffindeffer often talks about a time when she was I think I went deaf, a time when she was attacked. Now, I don't know the full story on that, but she, will put little bits and pieces here and there. I know that I have also frozen in situations like that are high anxiety. So I don't know. Thank you, Woofy. Live streaming is hard, and plus today has just been a day. We've been at the doctors and all that stuff. I have a headache, but yeah.
Man in her home at 4 a.m. She secreted herself in her bedroom after that, according to the affidavit. And I would believe she perhaps passed out or otherwise became unconscious as a result of this trauma.
Jennifer, I think one thing we've learned from this investigation is the investigation play out. Let the police and the FBI do their jobs, because at first everybody thought, well, they were just not doing anything and it was going to go cold. And we saw how that happened. But this roommate's testimony is going to be very important in this trial. What happens if so many people online start muddying up this water and she just says, I cannot testify? What happens then?
Well, I'm hopeful that she has a victim advocate that is working with her from the FBI, and I'm hoping she's shielded from some of this social media. As you may have seen, it's actually relentless against her, termed DM in the affidavit. And it's really sad because she's not a villain. She's a victim in this situation.
Right. I mean, honestly, I think I would do the same thing if you're frozen in your...
She's gotten a lot of backlash on social media. It's really hard for us to understand how you hear something in your home that sounds like crying multiple times, how you peek out and you see a stranger in your home with a mask on, how you hear some of the things that she heard. I would assume to think that Kaylee's probably not usually up playing with the dog at 4 a.m. So I don't know. It's hard to understand how all of that happens and you go back into your room for 8 hours and until, you call friends and you guys call law enforcement. So I don't know. I can see both sides. I just think we have to be really careful about, I think questions are okay, but attacking is another thing. But that was his nickname, Lion Vegan Burger. Are you sure about that? I hadn't heard that yet.
Tracks. You just go to your room, you shut the door, and you don't really know what to do. And nobody was there. No one can say how she was feeling. But apparently there's a lot of people saying online that Kohberger was spotted at a vigil several days after the killings. What do you make of this? Is that typical behavior if it were to be true? Is that typical behavior of someone who is guilty?
absolutely typical behavior. They want to be in the midst of what's happening, listen to the rumors, be abreast of everything. I would believe that whoever committed this murder watched closely on social media, mainstream media, not only eating it up for tips as to what the investigation, the direction it was going, but also sort of seeing before him what he had done play out in the media. He loves this attention.
So classic.
Oh my gosh. I'm all for looking at, I hope after he's found guilty that he doesn't become like this infamous person. I think everybody's talking about it right now. And, I was thinking, we have talked about this case so much and we know so many details that we don't often hear in other cases. Other cases like Summer Wells, we would see interviews here and there and you would hear things, but you wouldn't have every single mainstream media news station making several videos a day on it. Every single huge, written publication doing several, post on it a day or whatever. So there's just so much to talk about. He already is infamous. I know. I thought that as soon as it came out of my mouth, like it just sucks. So, because I do think he enjoys that. Now, I don't know if I think that was him at the memorial or not. We've talked about that in here. I am going to keep playing it because I really want to show you the other stuff too. So we'll get through it.
This is resumed Wednesday for the students on campus. Do you think there's really a renewed sense of relief for the students and honestly the parents too, because they left without a suspect being in custody? And there's been a lot that's transpired through there, not only because they have a suspect in custody, but also it has a lot to say about the police work in the area.
Yes, just an excellent job done by Ellie. And I would think there would be a huge sense of relief and ability to go back on campus now, really not fearing anymore of something like this tragically happened, because this individual, at least the individual accused, not being convicted, presumed innocent, but is behind bars not now making.
Okay, so first, I want to say we're going to read a couple articles in a little bit. They are actually going back to school right now, and I think that they do feel some relief. However, not everyone believes that he's guilty, and I've got to know, Jordan, you don't think it was Bryan who committed the crime? That's so interesting if that's the case. Oh my God, when I was ripping my phone case off to like put my phone in the ring, like the tripod, my case broke. That freaking sucks. I have the 13 plus, but I have a broken camera on it. I really need a case because I know I'll break it if not. No, at the vigil. Okay, interesting. Oh, is Mallory here? Hey, Mallory, good to see you, beautiful. Dr. Phil just commented. Okay, so now we're going to talk about Camille Vasquez and her opinion on it all. Then I want to show you something really interesting that Jen Liu found that's gonna pose a question. And Jen Liu and Dr. B actually covered this case last night. I fell asleep watching it. It was excellent listening to them go through the affidavit and the timeline kind of point by point. Now, Mr. Raven, we know that the Corner Club has spoken out and said he was not banned from there. That was a rumor. No one was banned from there. No one was kicked out from there. Remember, we heard that hoodie guy had been kicked out for how he treated the women? That wasn't true. So it's frightening to know that if Dylan would have left her bedroom to check on her friend, she would have been the fifth victim. It is. It's such a nightmare. And I think that imagine how she felt before he was caught. Every day she probably was wondering if I don't know. No offense, but it's Vasquez with an Z. It's all right. I don't take no offense from that. Is that how I spelled it in the thing? Honestly, it's okay. Hey, Thrive for Shanann. By the way, your Christmas card made me cry. Thank you for that. It meant the world to me. I fell asleep and it was excellent. It was excellent. I was trying to watch. I was sitting there like watching so intently and I kept dropping the phone and it landed on my like baby toes really hard. I think I've like broke 2 of my baby toes last night. Finally, I gave up. I was like, okay, I'm done. Miss Alex, Isn't it obvious that his cell was off during the time of the murder? That is enough to prove he's guilty? I don't think so. It's just circumstantial. A defense attorney could get out of that. I mean, there are defense attorneys who believe the case they have right now is not strong enough. Let's listen to see what Camille says. I think 100, it's him. There's too many coincidences and things for the defense to explain. I agree. Hey, Anne from Animal Intuitive channel. You guys, Anne has a channel where she works with animals. She does readings on them. She tries to help, like almost like an animal therapist in ways. She's offered her services for free to any of the families involved with this or any other case that we talk about. You guys definitely go check out her channel, the Animal Intuitive channel. Previous trauma Dylan maybe had can equal more likely to freeze. The book, The Body Keeps Score, is great and how it explains how the brain learns this response. Interesting. Thank you. They 100% need more evidence. Queen Olive says, I think it's him. I do too. Okay, let's see what Camille says. She is now an NBC on-air analyst. How cool is that?
How strong is the case against him?
I think it's extremely strong. And the police and the investigators are not in the business of telling us everything that they have. They want to put enough to get probable cause to get a judge to sign that search warrant.
Yeah, we won't know perhaps until the preliminary hearing more evidence in the case. I find it interesting. Hoda and I were just talking about it. There were weeks and weeks where it seemed like there was nothing going on in the case. A lot of people were quite critical of the police department. Now we learn that perhaps they had been tracking this suspect since late November. Investigators have to make a decision at that point to keep things close to the vest. That helps with the investigation, I presume.
Exactly.
Okay, just a pause for fair use. We have to do that on YouTube, or we cannot, watch these videos. We have to provide commentary and that kind of thing. I want to say first, thank you to Jerry and welcome. I'm happy that you're here and I appreciate that. And Aggie, oh, that's really sweet. Kay, thank you. Thank you so much. She says guilty. Interesting. Oh, thank you, Crazy Mama, for getting Anne's channel. She's excellent, you guys. She truly is.
Exactly right. I mean, this is a case that's garnered so much attention worldwide, really. And so I think these investigators do not want to make any mistakes. They do not want to give the suspect any reason to have the case not go the way they want it to.
We've heard a lot about these internet sleuths. Everyone's trying to get in on the case and give their theories and in some cases name names. Do those kind of folks hurt a case or can they occasionally help a case too?
I think they can do both, right? I mean, I think the internet sleuth, this has become something that really captivated the country, this case has. And so people want to talk about the evidence. They want to talk about the human impact. And these are college students, right? So I think it can be incredibly helpful for investigators. They pleaded to the public and asked for information about the white Elantra. But it could also be helpful, or not helpful, harmful when you start naming someone.
Wow. You guys, I think it's so cool that she's an NBC analyst now. I want to watch everything. I really enjoy her. Why do mainstream media always ask if web sleuth help or hurt? I think that they might be a little bit intimidated somewhat. And then some of it is because, I got to be honest, like some of them do hurt when you think of people like Joseph Morris and things like that, and then some of them help people who are just looking into, spending their time looking into it factually, talking about theories and stuff, but making it clear, that kind of thing. But that is a good point. We've heard that a ton. I live very close to Moscow, and I think he is guilty because why would you shut your phone off? And there is DNA at the scene, and then he leaves town. Guilty all the way. She's my girl crush. I know. She's great. Top tier attorney. His parents didn't do anything. I feel bad for them. She actually has a boyfriend because a lot of people thought they were dating. And because it's a valid question. Has Camille ever done criminal law? I want to say yes, but I could be wrong. Like, I feel like I've heard that she was criminal defense attorney at some point. Let's see what it says here, because a lot of times the police that will not have everything. According to CCTV, Kohberger has a steep hill to climb because she says investigators and prosecutors aren't in the habit of revealing all their cards from the get-go. On the contrary, she suggests there might be even more damning evidence beyond what's been revealed so far in the police affidavit, which includes DNA, cell phone data, and eyewitness accounts. Camille says they probably put just enough in the docs to get probable cause for an arrest, but notes there could be more revealed in court. She also talked about the pros and cons of having the public so engaged in this case, saying tips could certainly be helpful. Too much sleuthing is a red herring. Pretty solid first outlining as a media personality for Camille. And then they just talk about her. Okay. So let me see if I have Jen Lou's video. We're not going to watch it. You guys have to go over there to watch it. But I want to find just one little part in the video because she did something really interesting. Here we go. So Jen Lou, if you guys are not subscribed, you have to. She's so damn intelligent and funny, and her channel is just great. She doesn't go into any of the bullshit, the drama. She will not lie to you. I'm telling you, just trust me on this one. This is like a recommendation with my full heart. She's great. So hey, Melissa Jade, Jen Lou went to her DoorDash, like in her phone, her app or whatever, and she changed her address to be the house. When she did this, you can see here that Jack in the Box, I mean, this was really smart, by the way, but Jack in the Box only accepts DoorDash orders until 2:45 a.m. So she says, like, she kind of takes from that. She believes it wasn't Jack in the Box that delivered food there at 4 a.m., just 4 minutes before, he parks for his final time and comes inside. I am not convinced that it wasn't. I'm wondering, could it have been taking them that long to get her order there? It seems like a long time, right? An hour and 15 minutes. But is it possible that they just took forever? Or was it from somewhere else and that Jack in the Box bag and that food was not from that night, like right then? Oh, you're welcome, Aggie. Okay. Oh, you're welcome, Jen. It's the truth. It is the truth. I've thought about this. Let's see. I want to know what you guys think. And then I want you guys to go check out her video because that was a great live. She's really awesome. I love me some Jen Lou. Think the state trooper should have stopped at one stop. They tipped him off. Maybe he wouldn't have cleaned the car. I can't believe they weren't able. Oh gosh, it's just hard. Like investigators watching him clean his car. Oh, the thought of that, like, it's just silly. They didn't pull his name out of the hat. His DNA was there. It's taken that long for me before. It does say it takes up to 80 minutes to deliver. Where does it say that? Maybe it said it in her video and I missed that. 7, open now, closes at 2 a.m., 7.8 miles from the house. This was just so interesting. Oh, yes, I forgot. She found a place called Num Num that would deliver to the house 24 hours a day. But I just love that you even did that, looked it up and all that stuff. Now, he may have killed animals before. I'll give the little weirdo that much. MK. Bryan was a getaway driver. There was another suspect on foot. Wouldn't you think that I don't know. I don't see him recruiting people, like telling them everything about this. Insanely confused. Woofy, will you do me a favor and get, oh, there it is. Nikki dropped it. There's Jen's channel. Factual and sassy AF. She is. You can schedule your order by the close time, then watch the app for where you are in line for delivery. I've delivered for DoorDash. Here we go. And they are very strict about times of delivery. They track how long it takes you to deliver. Wow. It might have been an old food setting there. I'm starting to think so too. Thank you, Amber, for linking Jen's channel. You guys, please go check it out. That would mean the world to me. Thank you, Kib Kitty. Hey, Angie. Good to see you. No orders from 2:45 to 4:10 from Jack in the Box. I believe this time frame changed after the murders. Oh. Like maybe they were doing it before. Thank you, Jordan. Was the skin dog Bryan? He's allegedly only vegan for his health. Well, you think about it as a vegan person who's so strict, they will not eat in pans that cooked meat, which I think that was just to be an asshole and be difficult, in my opinion. But you're carrying a leather sheath? Weird. Someone pointed that out to me, and I was like, damn, that's really weird. Can we see the date on that Jack in the Box? So this is just from Jen's video. She just did this. If you mean on the counter, I don't think so. It's not 7 miles to Jack in the Box, just saying. Well, it just says that in the app because she used their address when she did this. Hey, Amber. I knew it was about like, I don't know, close to that. Oh, thank you, Decorus. Thank you. Appreciate that. Last order was 2:45, and it would have been completely reasonable for it to not arrive for 70 minutes. That's what I'm wondering. Oh, I hadn't considered that they changed the policy after. Interesting. I know. Super interesting. Cool of you to even think to do this. Was the guy who stole the panties Bryan too? Okay, we have a lot more to go at. I'd hate to miss y'all's comments because it's so interesting, but we just have other things to look at, so I want to keep going. Don't forget to go subscribe to Jen Lou. Okay, so this I screen recorded out of a Facebook group. I just found it a kind of nice way to look at this for the people who are visual people.
In the beginning, most of us believed the two surviving roommates, Bethany and Dylan, were sleeping on the first floor. Since then, we've learned Dylan was sleeping here on the second floor, along with Xana and Ethan located here. Kaylee and Madison were located here on the third floor. The dog was located on the third floor and by itself. Let's move around and see the walls, into the kitchen, to the back slider, and take a look at the frames. At 4:04 a.m., the suspect can be seen trying to park his car. At 4:09, approximately 5 minutes later, he enters the house through the back slider. At 4:18, he leaves the house after committing the crimes. At 4:20, he's caught on camera driving away at a high rate of speed. All of this only took 9 minutes. Let's watch what that looks like. The suspect enters through the back sliding door. The first bedroom he stops at and opens the door, he sees no one there. He continues to the next bedroom. Here we know what happens. Downstairs, Dylan is sleeping. The noise from upstairs wakes her up. She thinks it's Kaylee playing with her dog. She gets up and goes to the door and looks out. She sees nothing there. The suspect then continues down the stairs about 3 minutes later. He then heads to Xana's room. Outside, there's a security camera whimpering, cries, and a thud at 4:17. We've learned that Xana was found on the floor, which might explain the thud. Dylan again hears something outside her door. She sees the suspect. He walks right past her and leaves.
Is that not so interesting to be able to see it that way? Now, one, if it is true that he doesn't see good at night, that's just, based on his post back 10 years ago. Two, if he's trying to hurry and get out of there because he didn't expect the fight that he encountered in Xana's room. I do believe he could have seen Dylan and wanted to bounce out anyways because he's afraid the cops are going to be called or something, or maybe he didn't see her at all. But regardless, I like to be able to see it like this with the times and that kind of thing. It is really interesting. Thank you, True Crime Snoopy. How did Dylan know it was a stranger in her house? Oh, I like this comment. They have hundreds of people daily in and out of the house. I know. I thought about that too. It's a party house. You know, could she have thought, surely to God, the last thing she would have ever imagined is it's a homicidal maniac, right? Pink Butterfly, I believe he did go upstairs first based on the order of the charges. If we go by the way he was charged, which is typically, you know, it's going to be in chronological order, he's first charged with burglary when he enters the scene or the house, right? Then it's Maddie, Kaylee, Xana, Ethan, I believe. Ethan was the last one. The sheath being beside of Maddie. We've had experts have said that kind of points to her possibly being the target. Now, someone had asked if they had shown the sheath. No, but they did describe it, and people have found similar ones online. Hey, Allie. I know, Corey. I know. So let's see. He sure did see enough not to cut himself. I wonder if he did. You know, I don't think that we know. No victim blaming at all. I kept thinking how much time he spent in the house, thinking it was a short time. But then I started thinking about Dylan opened the door 3 times in those 10 minutes. That's a lot to me. That is a lot. That's a good point. I mean, if you're startled 3 times within 15 minutes or less, more like 12 minutes, because of parking his car and that kind of stuff. Jack, the alibi was he went to Pullman to get food. I don't know about that, Michael. I've not heard that. She just said there's someone here. Right. She didn't say there's a stranger here or there's a scary homicidal maniac in the house. You know, there's someone here. I've always thought it was Maddie he was targeting. Hey, Criminality and Michelle. I don't think he saw her, especially if she woke up and didn't put the light on. I missed that. Did anybody see that voice enhancement of the possible attack with CCTV? I did see it, Lenny. I don't believe that it's real. In my opinion, actually, we know that it's not real. There was someone who come out and said that they were trying to show that an example of what could be heard from that distance. Do you think it's possible Kohberger filmed the incident on a GoPro or similar? Nowadays wouldn't be too difficult. It's been done before. I think it's possible. I don't know how likely it is. It's definitely possible. But I do think for sure when they get to his computer, his cell phone, and his work computer and all that stuff, I feel like there's going to be a lot. Think about this. That arrest affidavit was created before they ever searched his home. Okay, so all the evidence that they get from his home and, you know, from anybody who knew him and all of that stuff is going to be extra. Imagine what kind of digital evidence they're going to get from his laptop. I mean, we know that he had been by the house a dozen times. How did he find them? Did he find them online? It's certainly possible, especially this day and age. And the girls posted a lot. They were very social, public girls. It's not legitimate, right? Nothing in the affidavit can be a lie. It has to be factual. Yeah, glad it's not real. I don't know why. I'm really sorry that you guys ever had to hear that and think for 1 second it was real. And God, those families. Now that really, it's upsetting because just like with the Joseph Morris scream, these families, even though it's not real, they listen to that, and for a second, you know they wondered if it was. That is wrong. It's wrong. Why the sheath not on his belt? The knife should be in his hand at that point, unless he was surprised. What if she yanked it from his belt? You know? Look how much they actually kept from us. Imagine how much more they really know. Absolutely. Too bad he lawyered up because his interrogation video would have been interesting. I agree. Okay, just a minute, you guys. I hate to skip forward. I'm going to go back to our little folder because we do have like several other things to go through. Let's see. That little video is interesting. Now, I think that we will watch the family. Hold on, let me find. We'll just go to Killer B for a moment. He does have some interesting things I wanted to show you because I don't think my other message went through.
I believe because of his OCD, that's probably how he got into it. We now know from the affidavit how the Idaho suspect exited the house. I believe because of his OCD, that's probably how he got into. If you watched me for very long, you've probably seen one of my sliding glass door videos and how to secure them because they're a vulnerability. I was hesitant about this video, but if you got kids that live in a house or apartment with sliding glass doors, it'll be worth it. The video I'm getting ready to show is 3 years old and has around 300,000 views. There are hundreds like it.
Right. Show you real quick. You got to position it and get it in a good place right here, like this. Now at the same time, okay, and that's it, and you're in.
Adding a security bar can prevent this. Having a dowel rod cut to the length of the track and laying it down in there can also help. If you don't want to mess with that, I carry an adjustable door brace in my Amazon store.
Okay, you guys, just a moment. Okay, here we go. This was the other one I wanted to show you. Professor Little, we've watched him before. He's excellent. He really, really is.
Why was he so messy with the education he had? This is definitely an example of being overconfident with what you do know.
Hey, Mandy
not
C.
respecting or considering what you don't know. When we go to him turning his cell phone on before he got back to Pullman, he understood the police would pull a suspect list from phone data around that house around the time of the murders, and he was avoiding his phone ending up on that data. He was thinking to avoid becoming a suspect. What he was missing was, how do you limit data if you are a suspect? So he shouldn't have turned his phone on before he got back to Pullman. He wasn't considering that. Now, when we say phone data showed that he stalked that house at least 12 times between August and the date of the murder, it's very likely that he reached the decision point that he was going to carry out a murder, that he stalked that house a lot more, but he turned his phone off on those times later on, so those wouldn't show up. He also showed environmental ignorance. And what do I mean by that? His education was at DeSales University.
Environmental ignorance.
Which is a university of less than 2,000 people in a community of less than 50,000 people. Environment there is going to be much different than the University of Idaho, which has over 11,000 students in a community of 25,000. Washington State University, a student of 27,000. Why is that significant? He underestimated the number of cameras that would be around that he could get picked up on in that environment, and therefore didn't think about it. Also, he drove back and forth for 3 times in the half hour before finally stopping. Why? His previous stalking probably suggested that the house would be dark, people would be asleep at 30. This is also environmental ignorance. I mentioned this in the very first video, that the day of the murder, University of Idaho, Sky Conference, Washington State University, Pac-12, both had home games that day. That changes the energy and the vibe in the downtown nightlife. It also extends student activity in after hours, so you're much more likely to have people awake longer that night. For example, Zaina ordered DoorDash at 4 a.m. That night. He should have known that. He didn't, because DeSales doesn't have a football team, doesn't have that kind of environment. He'd never experienced it before. He did not take into account how the environment he's in is different from the one he's experienced with. And he was basing his planning on stuff he knows and not taking into account what he did.
Okay.
Why was he so?
Brittany sent me something interesting while we were here, allegedly with Brittany J. Let's go check it out because I couldn't really look at it. There are new photos of Dylan from the Daily Mail and the link to that as well. Let's see. Thank you, Britt. Wow. This is the first time Mortensen has been seen since it was revealed she saw the killer at the scene, it says. And there she is. She looks different from the side, in my opinion. See, King 5 shared like a 20-minute interview with Kaylee's dad from 4 hours ago, and I'm trying to get that pulled up as well in the background. Maybe I'll just do it like this. King 5, father of Kaylee. Sorry, you guys. We could go to the link though. Let me see. There's one other picture, and we'll come back to chat in a moment to check on you guys. DailyMail.com spotted Dylan Mortensen, 19, at her family home in Boise, Idaho, Sunday morning after a trip to Starbucks. Wow, I can't get over how different she looks from the side. She sent us the link as well. Let's go check it out. Exclusive. Surviving Idaho roommate Dylan Mortensen is seen outside her parents' home for the first time since it was revealed she froze in fear. Brittany, thank you. This is freaking interesting. Let me exit out of... I called Ann Taylor's office today and left a message asking for the name of the female videotaping the crime scene on January 3rd. No response yet. I'll be interested to see who that is. She does look different. I'm surprised that they have done this, but, you know, let's see what they have to say about it. So, I don't want the video, but... Idaho's brave witness. Wow. Oh my gosh. Okay. Dylan Mortensen was seen by Daily Mail at her family home in Boise, Idaho, Sunday morning after a trip to Starbucks. University of Idaho sophomore was wearing shorts in chilly weather and had her hair pulled back. An affidavit revealed that Mortensen saw the murderer the night of the killings, describing him as at least 5'10" and having bushy eyebrows. Police described how Mortensen froze in fear after spotting the killer, who is alleged to be Washington State University postgraduate student Bryan Kohberger. Mortensen and Bethany both survived the attack. Of all those people. Wow. Interesting. Let me check on you guys before we go any further. I tried to mute so I wasn't coughing in the camera. People get mad. I'm trying not to cough, sniffle, breathe, anything in the microwave in the microphone, not the camera. I'm a mess today. I told y'all I'm a hot mess express over here. Got started, got booted off, trying to get my phone case, broke it, and logged in using every word in the wrong way that it's supposed to be used if you speak English. Yeah, I know. I am. That's all right. ATS News, so sad that people purposely spread that audio with bad intentions. Doreen, I'm reading an article that's out on mainstream media. It is what it is. I mean, we can't see you in the microwave. That's definitely not Dylan. Fake Daily Mail. It's possible. Hey, Roz. I don't think it looks like her either, but I don't know. Okay. Let's go to the new interview with the family, because that is father of Idaho victim, King 5. I want to make sure I've got the whole one because it's like 20 minutes long. What the heck? I don't know why it's not coming up right at the top. Filters, today.
is unique and different, but they bring something to the family, and she knew where she fit in. She was the
I'm sorry, you guys. I'm trying to make sure it's still like working on here because it won't let me send it at all, which is so strange. Okay, so we're going to move along to the next one, and I'll continue to try with that. But here's another. They've went on several different news channels today. The video has been removed by the uploader. What? The news, look, you guys, this video, the father of Idaho victim Kaylee Gonsalves has been removed. The King 5 video has been removed too, I believe, because when you try to share it, it won't let you. Why? What was in this interview? You click it, and then look what it does.
We wanted to go on a week vacation. She wanted to make it 10 days, and if it was going to be to one country
We'll
or
listen
two
like
countries,
this
she
for a
wanted to
moment.
make it 5 or 6. So that's what we'll miss. Holiday, she was the one who wanted to do the gingerbread houses and push it. She knew me. I would.
Thank you, Chemistry Queen. I love you, precious Alex. You make me smile. I snorted laughing at the microwave, though. Thank you so much. That is weird.
Like, I would use any excuse not to want to go and do that and just relax, watch some football, and just kick back. But you knew to make memories, you got to do those type of things. So we'll miss that that gift that she brought to us every single day, and she was a little ornery too. So we'll miss that as well. My family, we don't. Not everyone's just perfect. So good jokes and a little tease here and there. That's totally fine with us.
What did she love, and what did she maybe not love?
You know, she was the first one that stepped out and liked the country music, and we'd kind of razz her and we'd tease her a little bit because nobody else did, you know. But that's how she was. She'd step out on that ledge all by herself. So she loved doing that and going to concerts and hanging with her friends. She'd go.
Interesting. Let me check on you guys. I don't know. I can't get it to go where we can watch it on here. Makes me never want my daughter to grow up. It's scary out there. I know. It makes me not want to send mine off to school. The guy totally does look like a creep, though. I don't even know why I didn't mean to click that one particular comment and keep it up there without. I hadn't even read it yet, but I agree. I would be done talking to media, to be honest. I know, but I guess maybe they keep. I don't know. You would also feel like you don't want to, anybody to forget. Maybe
Buy some goofy little barbecuer and a tent and an air mattress and think that she was gonna, spend a weekend out on the Gorge concert or some concert along those lines. So that's the main thing that you remember that, and no one else is really into country. They kind of got into country after her because she kind of forced us all to start listening to it. But she was like that Taylor Swift girl that.
Oh, I love Taylor Swift.
Loved that stuff and was playing it in her room as she was cleaning it all day long.
Yes.
When you think about her and Maddie's friendship, I mean, 2 best friends.
That's right. That is what he said. And I wonder if that's why they took it down. So Steve said, oh my gosh, he said they were actually so close to the house because I sent it to Amber and Kelly. I bet I can get it that way. I quoted it to them, the shorter version where he says that. He said he was so close to the house, he was picking up their Wi-Fi, which is a different interview that we've got, but still. Okay, let's read through this and then we can go back to it because that is really the main thing that I didn't know that I heard in it, that he was picking up their Wi-Fi. Everyone deals with the loss of a child differently, and he feels the need to talk about her and keep her out in public's mind. Yeah, I agree. And also, in a situation like this, you would especially want to keep talking about her just to keep the awareness. And so, I don't know. Okay. Long legal process ahead in case of suspected University of Idaho killer. Let me see. Former prosecutor says. God, that look in his eyes. Ugh. So he will be back in court this week, but they actually did change it just slightly. It's still going to be on the 12th, but I think it's now at 8 a.m. their time. Oh, it's premium content. It won't even let me look at it. Well, fine, whatever, because we got some other things we need to look at. So, Idaho Statesman. Okay. What we know and still don't know about the homicide investigation in Moscow. Maybe later. At a news conference Friday, University of Idaho. Wait, when was this put out? January 9th. Okay. The Moscow Police Department led investigation into the fatal stabbings of the 4 U of I students, but the newly released 19-page probable cause affidavit showed that authorities pinpointed 28-year-old Bryan Kohberger, who police alleged killed the students in an off-campus apartment less than 2 weeks after the stabbings. In the weeks that would follow, we know all of that. Well, I think we know all of this anyways, but let me see what you guys think. I'm really mad that 19-minute video won't send because, and that's just strange. What is going on there? He connected to their Wi-Fi, right? I bet you that's why it got removed, because it was removed from 2 different news networks. A reporter early on asked the chief if they checked the house Wi-Fi, and he looked taken back by that question. Interesting. His loneliness was so intense that he felt he had to do this, I suppose. COVID compliant with a mask. Vegan psychosis, no. Why long court process? It should be shortened with overwhelming. Well, I don't know. I personally believe that he's going to try to, invoke his right to a speedy trial, which is 6 months. However, we see people trying to push it off, like Chad Daybell still doing to this day. And they will somewhat push back if your lawyer comes and says, look, I am not ready to argue this case. If I do, he's not getting a fair trial. They'll push it back. Okay, let me grab them. If he connected to the Wi-Fi, did he know the password? I bet you they can just tell he touched the Wi-Fi, was like close enough. I don't know, though. I honestly don't know. Maybe they didn't have a password. Interesting. Okay, 1 second, you guys. I'm trying to pull up let's see if News Nation still has it. They see what I mean. The reason we have so much to talk about with this case versus other cases, every single news network is putting out videos on it constantly. I mean, it's crazy. It's crazy. I wish there was the same amount of information for like Summer Wells, who's just being completely forgot about, which is heartbreaking and devastating. I had saved this one for us to watch. What the heck? Okay. Tell me that has not been removed too. Okay. Uh-oh. There we go.
Thank you for
Sorry
talking
about
to us
that.
about this one. So investigators in making an arrest did not have to find a motive. That is not their intent and their priority. How about prosecutors to get a conviction?
Good morning, Marnie. Yeah, although prosecutors don't have to show a motive to get a conviction for first-degree murder, juries want to know the motive, especially when they see this clean-cut guy with no criminal background. They want to know why he did it.
Yeah,
now, I think it's coming into focus why he did it. He seemed to be a devotee of serial killers and crime. I mean, he studied under the BTK's autobiographer. I mean, he was so.
Okay, I just want to pause. I have to for fair use anyways, but Mandy says some people won't set one if they live with others to make it convenient. And think about it. They lived in a house that was like a party house. People were in and out all the time that didn't live there. So that would just make perfect sense. Hey, Tennessee, sweetheart. Welcome. Today, for it being your first day here, it's been quite the day, but I'm glad that you're here. Oh, thank you, Allie. Let's see. Bryan Kohberger is so freaking scary looking. I can't even. Thanks. Thank you. I know. He is. This whole thing is scary. Like I had told you guys, remember, at nighttime, check your windows, check your doors, that kind of thing. We never expect something like this could happen to us. There's no way, like I said, that Dylan saw him and thought, he's going to kill everybody here or going to try to. You don't expect things like this to happen, but they can. So that's really what this has kind of showed me. Now, Summer Wells, Aggie, is a beautiful little girl who went missing almost 2 years ago on June 15th from Tennessee. She did get some coverage. Her case kind of was talked about a lot on YouTube for a time, and her family was on Dr. Phil and the behavioral panel. Now, no one's really talking about her, and there's no media coverage. Her family's definitely not talking. They're not out there trying to keep, spread the word and that kind of stuff. But okay, let's get back to the video. But just before I do, this is her. This is Summer. Missing from Rogersville, Tennessee, June 15th, 2021. Beautiful little baby. Okay, let's continue.
So interested in true crime that looks like he wanted to be the center of his own story.
Let's talk a little bit about the evidence that we know about that was released in the affidavit. What do you think is the most significant piece of evidence that's been publicly realized that will help prosecutors get a conviction?
I think the DNA is most powerful. I mean, science, and they have to a 99.999+% certainty that the father was the father of the DNA left on the sheath of the knife, meaning that this defendant's father, to almost a certainty, was the father of the killer. So I think that is really powerful. Now, remember, all the evidence that we have heard of right now has not been tested by the defense lawyers, the witnesses, and I think that's another powerful bit of evidence. The eyewitness.
The scary thing is, whether we like it or not, Bryan has put together quite the team, right? We know that he has Anne, his defense attorney, who is known to be really good. She is court appointed, but I don't think that really matters. But not only does he have her, but I think the family has hired these crime scene, the people who put little models and those kind of things together, and recreate the crime scene. They have several experts working with them. It's scary. Not that he deserves a fair trial. I mean, that way, in the end, if there's a conviction, that it will stick, but it's scary, I came in with you calling Bryan into News Daddy. Oh my gosh, that's funny. Okay, Britt.
That was there that night, she hasn't been put on the stand under cross-examination. You also have the defendant tied to the white Hyundai that was used in the crime. They have cell phone data that shows him in the vicinity before and after the crime. So they got a lot of evidence already, and I suspect there's more to come.
There's a lot more to come. So after this video, Brittany sent me another link to an article, which we had kind of showed a picture from this, but this will be a full article. So I'm excited to read that. So you guys hang in there and let's finish listening to this fellow and then we'll check it out.
Have the murder weapon, though, at least to our knowledge. And we were just showing a similar knife on the screen. How critical is that piece of evidence?
Well, it will be helpful.
Thank you, Teresa.
But in so many cases that we deal with, we don't find the murder weapon. And these guys, especially this guy who's an expert in this area, who is obviously knowledgeable enough to hide the murder weapon or to just dispense with it. But you can still get a conviction beyond a reasonable doubt with all the other evidence out there. The one thing, though, that prosecutors will find as a challenge is to convince a jury of the motive, because, as you said, the jurors, they don't have to have a motive, but they want to know the motive, and you got to show why this guy would do a crime like this. But I think, to me, it's coming into focus. I mean, this is the kind of person who is either, according to reports, either a serial killer or a wannabe serial killer, because he is fascinated by this stuff. I mean, he asked in this research study for information for people to tell them who committed crimes.
To be fair, I think a lot of us are kind of fascinated with it, and not that we're fascinated with serial killers or, anything really dark. It's just hard to understand the psychology behind it, to understand why people move the way they do, why people do the things they do, even as for just the sheath, like he's talking about. I've really drove myself crazy trying to wondering, did he leave that on purpose? Trying to point towards somebody else. Was his dad previously in the Marine Corps? I think that's something that we need to know. It's interesting. Thank you, Mandy. Thank you. That's really sweet. And I appreciate that. I'm happy to see you. Remember, I talked to you, and I was really wanting to interview you a while back, and then I don't know, you just kind of were gone for a bit. So I'm happy to see you, and thank you. I'm telling you, he was sleeping with one of them, or did in the past. I've wondered that as well. Is it possible that they had been on a date or something like that, and maybe, we heard from Kaylee's family. She actually did go on one date. I don't know with who, at least one date after her breakup. And she didn't really like him. I mean, I don't know
why they did it and what was going through their minds and how they felt about it. So it seems like this is the kind of person who would do such a barbaric act with no financial motive just because he wanted to do it.
What do you suspect the defense will do? How will they play this? And we've got this status hearing coming up on Thursday that the defense asked for. What should we expect?
Well, they'll probably try to get more information. I think they use these preliminary hearings to try to gather more information so they can better represent their client. But I think what they may try to do is to challenge the probable cause there, or at least to slow things down a little bit, to try to set a trial calendar that's beneficial to the defendant. But right now, the evidence looks pretty bad against their guy, and the most they can do is probably just try to get as much information as possible at this point.
How do you expect him to plead, Dave?
Not guilty.
He's definitely pleading not guilty. Someone said, I think he was selling them drugs. I've heard other people speculate about that because of his background and stuff. I mean, I will say most of the girls in the house to me seem like they wouldn't be doing hard drugs or anything, but they are in college, and you never know. I mean, kids experiment, but it's possible. Hey, social butterfly. My parents think I'm crazy how into true crime I am. I know. Nobody in my family is really into it, so that's why I'm really happy to have you guys. I had to come outside so I can smoke a cigarette.
There's no way he's pleading guilty at this point. He's going to plead not guilty. He's going to do the whole defense. He is going to make the prosecutors put everything on trial. He doesn't have to show anything. He can stay silent, and the prosecution has the entire burden. But here's another guarantee, Marty. Not only will he plead not guilty, but I will guarantee you the prosecutor will seek the death penalty. If you don't the death penalty in a case where 4 innocent college students were slaughtered in such a way, then when do you seek it? And
wow. He says, I will guarantee they seek the death penalty. I find that to be really interesting. I know they will consider what the families want. Think about the Chris Watts case. Chris did not get the death penalty because Shanahan's family did not want him to. Now we know that Kaylee's family wants him to get the death penalty, but everyone will have their time to give their opinion. All the other parents.
Is a death penalty state.
Right, and unfortunately, the jury did not go after the death penalty when we saw the Florida shooting in your state, the deadly shooting at Marjorie Stoneman Douglas. How likely is it to seat a jury and the challenges they will face making that decision in a state like Idaho in such a highly publicized murder?
Idaho is a very red state. They're very pro-capital punishment. In the case of Nicholas Cruz, which you referenced, Marnie, it's in Broward County, Florida, a very blue county, a lot more progressive attitudes, anti-death penalty in some parts. All you need is one. It's much easier to get the death penalty, and I think there's a really good shot at it. Now,
Interesting. I bet that does play a role. You know, what state you're in. Thank you, Crime Sleuthing. I appreciate that so much. Thank you. And if we don't get to that video, because I'm not sure because of the music and stuff, we will link it at the end so that people can go and check it out. Because she has sent me a video that she put together that we could look at. It's kind of long and it has some music, so I may just link it at the end. I hope, are you guys talking about Valerie going live? I hope that she does. Hey, Emily. Some liberals believe in the death penalty. I agree. I lean more left. I mean, on social issues, I lean more right as like on money issues. So it's hard, but I think it definitely has its place. Okay. So let's check this out now. Daily Mail. Remember, I showed you guys like a little photo from Twitter of the dad cleaning up around the outside of the house. So let's read this. Thank you, Teresa and Brittany and Shay, who sent this to me. They're like, Teresa said send this to you. So thank you. And I hope, will you guys, mods, please link their channels? Okay. Exclusive. Father of accused killer Bryan Kohberger cleans up shattered glass from his front door and broken window blinds that were damaged after SWAT team descended on family's Pennsylvania home to arrest their son. Michael Kohberger was spotted cleaning up the mess left behind from the December 30th SWAT team raid at the family's Albrightsville, Pennsylvania home. He was dressed casually in jeans and a gray hoodie, emblazoned with the words "Life is good" in the back, as he used a wet, dry shop vacuum to tidy up. The dramatic bust saw law enforcement officers break open the property's front door to arrest murder suspect Bryan Kohberger, 28. Shards from the door's glass panel could still be seen lying near a trash can containing broken window blinds that were also damaged during the bust. Okay. Let me check on you guys, and then we're going to keep reading. Oh, welcome, Riddler. Thank you. Thank you for joining. Thank you, Crazy Mama. Brooke, my email is, do I have it right here? Hold on. I think the mods, Wolfie, can you put my email in the chat for me, pretty, please? And thank you. And then you can head out the door, pretty, please. Okay, we're going to keep going. If not, I'll grab it. That's okay. The father of accused killer Bryan was spotted cleaning up debris and shattered glass a week after their son's dramatic arrest at their home. So is the press just like standing outside of their house? Because they are definitely just hanging out around the corner club, because there have been 911 reports. You can see on their police log. There have been 911 reports of the corner club calling the police because the press won't leave. So does that mean that they're standing outside of their house? I mean, I still think he broke federal law because he crossed state lines. Ooh, thank you, Nadine, Crazy Mama. Thank you, Riddler. I'm proud to have you. And Woofy. Thank you, guys. As for Dylan, maybe that shock only made her remember Bryan instead of the real killer because he has a scary face. Who's the real killer? Imagine being in your bed and the SWAT team bursts through the door for your young son. I cannot even imagine. Me either. And by the way, you guys, I know there has been a huge rumor that has taken over TikTok saying that there has been a second arrest and a press conference. That is not true. Not that I can find. There is nothing that says that. Oh, it's just so frustrating because there's some really shit people with channels that care more about views than the truth and telling you guys the truth and the families and the victims. And that's just the way it is with social media. So remember that when you hear different things, if they can't show you a source or tell you exactly where it came from, then just, you could still listen, but take it with a grain of salt. And got that break of fury, MK. You heard that too? Yeah, it was crazy. It was everywhere. TikTok always puts out the worst information on these cases, like every damn time. I know they do. An eyewitness at 4 a.m. waits until noon to have a reaction. Dylan, eyewitness up close and personal, had no reaction. Well, we don't really know what happened after that. It's possible that she passed out. It's possible that she had some sort of help. I mean, there's so many things. We know that Steve did confirm yesterday, I believe, that one of the girls did pass out and the other one was hyperventilating. Can you imagine at that age? I mean, I remember, I'm only 33. I remember clearly being that age, and I was just a baby. And I lived in college. I lived in a dorm. I didn't live in an apartment like that. But can you imagine waking up and finding your friends that way? I mean, most people will never witness a scene like that in their lives. Most people won't see it on TV or on the internet, not something that graphic. It is absolutely horrific. Proof is not screenshots. Agree, Texas Angel. Thank you, Radine. Both girls were familiar with Bryan, selected him out of a photo ID lineup, and knew the color car was in affidavit. So if Wi-Fi code locked, he knew the passcode. I don't know. It could be possible that they could pick that up without him ever connecting, or you know what I mean, just touching it. I can't imagine. Me either. I really can't. Alex is going to get me on my soapbox again. This is exactly why we do continued fire safety education and training drills in schools to help people survive fires. We need to be doing more. Hey, Monica. The question isn't her freaking out over what she saw the next day. It's her lack of response the night before. I know. Trust me, I get why you guys feel that way. I really do. And I think there's a huge difference in you guys saying that and me, right? Because it wouldn't be right for, I don't know. I just think that it's different. Do I have questions and with my friends in private, I go a little deeper into that? Yes. But to broadcast it out to the public, I just don't want to do that because, like, look, we've seen so many people be blamed and they're not involved, you know, and it's really sad. It could be devastating and destroy their entire lives. So, okay. Screenshots are only proof in YouTube court. That's okay, Woofy. Just be careful going home. I put up a video, y'all are welcome to watch or use, explain shock and story of a lady who went through the exact thing in 92. Right, so that is a video I was thinking about playing. And so if not, I'm going to link, it has some music and stuff, and it's pretty long. So we're going to link it in the chat here in a few minutes when we go. Thank you, Profiling Manipulation. I appreciate that. Where everyone thinks they're an attorney. Yeah, or a private eye. Right, social butterfly. Not that neutral, but just careful about, you know what I mean. But yeah, pretty much. Yeah, message us when you get home, Wuffy. Oh, you guys are so sweet. Thank you, Milo. I appreciate that. I love you guys being here. Okay. So here is Mr. Kohberger. Life is good. I don't know that he thought that one through too much, you guys. Oh, Shay Benet, you've been a member for 3 months. Thank you. Wolfie just sent that to me because on StreamYard we don't get to see that. So thank you. So there he is with his shop vac, his super old school New Balances, must be work shoes. Poor man, you guys. I'm sorry. I know people are suspicious of Dad, but this photo breaks my heart. Look at him. Oh my God. Like we hear him in that video. He's so proud. My son's getting his PhD to this. It's sad. He was spotted cleaning up the left behind from the dramatic SWAT team raid. So the press is just hanging out outside the house waiting for, there's the door. They said what law enforcement officers descended on the property as soon as a warrant was obtained, breaking down the doors and windows in what the source said was a, quote, dynamic entry, unquote. Let me look that up. I'm wondering if that's like a specific thing. Okay, look. It is a dynamic entry is a tactic where surprise, speed, and domination are key. 1, usually accomplished by timing of the execution of the entry. 2, use of noise flash divisionary devices when warranted. Before we go, we're going to check that out, but let's finish this Daily Mail article. We'll check that out, and then I will let you guys go. The elder Kohberger appeared to be faring well despite the horrific charges leveled against his son as he picked up the pieces outside. He was dressed casually in jeans and a gray hoodie and blended with the words "life is good" in the back. Neither of the parents have spoken. What is this? The OCD libertarian vegan who looked drugged. This is another new article. Let's look at it. What the heck? Wow. SWAT team descended on sleepy Poconos Mountain town to catch libertarian Idaho murder suspect Bryan Kohberger, who was obsessively vegan as a teen and looked drugged at school. It was updated today. The way they worded that was so tricky because they're talking about some of the old things that came out with him in school. But acting like, yeah, I don't know. I didn't like the way they wrote that. But there was one more at the bottom I wanted us to look at. If we could, actually, we'll just go back here to this one. Kaylee Galva's sister shares relief at arrest. So this is an interview that just came out today. Wow, look, can't reach the page. Oh, it went through. Okay. True evil was watching her. Sister of murdered U of I student Kaylee Gonsalves shares relief after Bryan was arrested and says he, quote, he was planning his next visit to her home, unquote, while sisters texted about a recipe. The sister speaking out for the first time in an exclusive interview with News Nation Sunday night, Olivia said she and her family felt the weight of the world was lifted off of our shoulders. The interview's gone. We just looked at News Nation's page. It was not there. All the interviews are gone today. I don't know what is happening, but can we watch it right there? Here's a clip of it. Let's just watch this clip, I guess. So strange. She looks beautiful, but
Yeah, to be honest, I think that that's been the hardest part of this, is just sit back and look at the totality of it. When my sister was FaceTiming me about a new egg bites recipe, he was planning his next visit to the home. And that's really difficult. It's really difficult not to wish that you had done more, wish that you had known more. But it's just the first step. A lot more evidence will come out. And I'm confident that Moscow Police Department, Idaho State Police, and the FBI have the right person. And I thank them from the very bottom of my heart.
I never really thought about it that way. When you go through the timeline and the affidavit and see all the dates of when the cell phones pinged, you can actually go back. And I know you talk to your sister every day. You can actually go back and think of your conversations from those specific times.
Yeah, you know, the August 21st date, I can go back and remember the conversation that I had with Kaylee that day, and how normal everything was, and the fact that we had no idea, she had no idea, I had no idea that true evil was genuinely watching them.
wow, absolutely heartbreaking. She is currently pregnant. I heard that she is pregnant, and she did give them the news before all this happened. I don't know how long before, but I just can't believe those interviews are down. I'm really confused of kind of what's going on here, you guys. I do want to say, though, thank you all for being here. I really appreciate it. I watched the Three Amigos today, ATS, CDT, and Alex Erickson. Thank you, Matrix Victim. I appreciate those girls, love them to pieces, and thank you so much. Yeah, what the heck? So those videos are gone. They're completely gone off of News Nation. Thank you, guys. Okay, so the last thing we're going to look at is about the entry, that tactical, what did it say? Let me pull it back. Dynamic entry versus deliberate entry. This is from Police One, a website. It says, for some time now, the SWAT community has experienced a debate about the use of dynamic entries, and it is a legitimate option for high-risk warrant service. Some would argue that the dynamic entry is flat out getting cop shot, and the use of the tactic tends to carelessness. So this is done for high-risk warrant service. It's crazy, but this man is a violent man. They don't know if he's armed. Look at what he's done. They know what he's capable of. Thank you, Mary Jane Valentine. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. We are a little true crime family. Yeah, while pregnant, it's awful. It really is. Thank you, True Crime Snoopy. I love you guys. I don't know. Why are those interviews gone? Now my mind is blown. We were going to watch a couple of them. I've just looked on my phone to double check while we were watching that, and they're gone. Go to News Nation, look at their videos. The last one is from hours ago. The gag order. Does that include the families, though? I mean, to get a little personal, I witnessed a homicide when I was 6 or 7. I'll have to ask my parents the exact year. And I froze for a minute. The point is, we need to be training kids to respond and call 911. Vivian, she said she just saw the Life is Good sweat. Okay, so this is really interesting. The controversy, from my favorite word, y'all. I know I need a source, okay? There's several other words I could use, but interesting just feels right, okay? The controversy, from what I can determine, has no merit. It's my experience that the dynamic entry is very effective. I also believe that the deliberate entry is also very effective. The problem seems to be that there is a need for some SWAT trainers to replace one with the other. Why? There are two different applications that can be used best when faced with difficult challenges. Dynamic entry is a knock and announce, breach, bang if warranted, and clear the objective. This dynamic entry, the standard for many years, many teams across the country, has been the dynamic entry conduct a high-risk warrant service. The dynamic entry may vary a little from team, but the basic concept of the tactic is still the same. He said, I won't try to define what other people may use, but I will explain what we do. Dynamic entry is a tactic where surprise, speed, and domination are key. Wow. 1, usually accomplished by timing of the execution of entry. 2, use of noise flash diversionary devices when warranted. 3, use of an overwhelming amount of dominating force inside the stronghold. The dynamic entry is generally the fastest option for clearing large threats. We like to use 8 or more operators. The operators stack up at the entry point, knock and announce, break and enter the stronghold. They then start clearing the stronghold by moving toward the most immediate threat. Generally, 2 operators enter a room together. 3 or more operators may enter if the room is large. They may bang their room prior to entry when warranted. Upon entry, operators must concern themselves with points of domination and areas of responsibilities. In other words, clear the most immediate threat first. Take a position of domination that will allow for overlapping fire from the operator inside the objective. It must be done with an overwhelming amount of dominating force. The operator step through the door of the room, muzzle up, and take a corner to clear. The second operator in the stack is required to be the right on the first man's tail as he enters the stronghold. When the room is clear, they announce clear. The advantage to this style of dynamic entry is that it provides speed through the objective, especially when the location of your adversary is unknown. Speed in the dynamic entry buys you surprise, and surprise affords you the opportunity to neutralize your threat before he engages you. Well, I guarantee you they were surprised. To make the dynamic entry successful, these 2 points are important. 1, don't move any faster than you can effectively engage your adversary. 2, provide an overwhelming amount of dominating force inside the stronghold. Speed of the dynamic entry is critical. Interesting. So this article is basically, they're saying that it can cause, people to be hurt. I just feel for his family, man. It's horrible. Okay, I'm going to talk to you guys for a second, and then I'm going to let you go. Let's see. You never know at what age that training could save a life or the child's life. I really wish it wasn't necessary. I wish school shooter drills weren't necessary. Yeah, everyone seems to expect that one. Did they use tear gas or no? I don't know, but basically in the dynamic entry, they said they do when it's needed. They'll use, what did they say? It wasn't smoke bombs, things like that. They do flashbangs. Use dynamic entry because wanted to make sure suspect didn't have time to get a weapon or run away. Better to catch him by surprise, knowing how violent the attacks were at his level and his level of education. The fact he was a kickboxer, those poor babies didn't stand a chance. Yes, we did, Eris. You too, True Crime Snoopy. I really do want to grab this link for you. Oh, I know how I can get it. Well, from Crime Sleuthing. Maybe you guys can go check it out. Let me see. And otherwise, I'll see you guys soon. I hope, I know that there's constantly stuff coming out. So, and I got to ask you guys something. How do you feel about, so I won't cover a case just because it's like the trending case. I can't do that. Like, I cannot force myself to be interested in a case. I know you guys know what I mean. Like, some cases catch your attention, some don't. Like the Kylie Rodney case, I just could not force myself to do it. Like, I wasn't that interested in it. I didn't feel my heart was in it. So I didn't really cover it. I think that we briefly discussed it from time to time, but nothing serious. But oops, didn't mean to do that. But when, let's see, where's her video? When do you guys think, like, there's so many kids out there who are missing and they never get any attention, and, so many cases that need it. But, there's, the thing is with those cases, there's not the amount of information. There may be a little bit, but, there's not the amount of information that we're getting with this. Because every news station is covering it, every place is writing about it. We are constantly, there's so much to talk about. Valerie, I was super invested in Kylie Rodney. A lot of people were. Thank you, Seagate. Oh, welcome, Raydon and Jamie, Texas Chick. Thank you, guys. Crime Sleuthing, can you send me the link to your video, please? Because I'm having trouble getting it, and I wanted to share it. I really felt for those young adults. They had great lives ahead of them, robbed. Oh, yeah, they did. Ethan's mom and dad were like, we had just been up there and we left and we looked at each other and we're like, you did it. Like, you did it. You raised an amazing kid. He's going to college. He's going to go live an amazing life. Like, we're done, and we did it. And then this happens. Thank you, KM. Oh, I appreciate that so much. I'm glad you're joining. Or joining the family, the chat. I'm glad that you're here. Some people think Bryan's dad sounded proud in the traffic stop. To me, he sounded nervous and over-answered questions as a deflection to what Bryan told him he had done. Wow. See, MK, I was really surprised because a retired officer was in here one night and had said, yeah, I think the dad needs to be looked at. It's pretty suspicious. Why did he drive all the way out there just to drive back with him? Certainly how did he get out there to begin with? Had he driven himself? Just having questions. And I personally did think he sounded proud, but I think there's a lot of people who are kind of in line with you as well. I know, Clary, it did me too. This case is the most horrific murder I've ever heard. It has affected me. It's affected me too. I mean, I know you guys probably think about it, you know, I think about it all the time. Wake up in the middle of the night and scroll through YouTube looking for something to listen to and right back into the rabbit hole. You know? Okay. Not many people are talking about the girl who was beaten to death by her friends in Mexico on vacation. There's a recording of the crime. Yes, Shanquilla Robinson. See, I had considered covering that one a little bit a while back, but I don't know what's happening with it now. Like at the time, it was starting to get a little bit of coverage, but then it all just disappeared. But that videotape is horrific, and I think there's a second one that hasn't been out there yet. And her father describes it as, you know, it being a video where she takes the last hit and quits moving and that kind of thing. It's all on video. That's absolutely horrific. Has me in nightmares. Oh, I'm sorry, Nikki. If he does have visual snow and night vision problems, his dad probably helped him drive home so he could drive. That's true. Huh. It's normal for the father. That's fine. I get that. But is it normal, like, to drive all the way out there just to drive back? I could see if they were, like, in the same area or something like that. But I don't know. It is, Jay. It's awful. No one has been extradited to Mexico yet. Then we have Lori Vallow and Chad. They're going to be in court within a couple months. I cannot wait for that. I'm going to be all over it. And unfortunately, with this case, right now we're getting a lot of info, and I think that if pretty soon that will slow down a little bit. I follow Shanquilla's case closely, but yeah, it's really cooled off. The mom disappeared New Year's Day. Oh my gosh, that one where her husband was just arrested. Out of Massachusetts. Gosh, why can't I think of her name? Hold on, I need to grab this link for this video. From Crime Sleuthing. Let's see. Thank you, by the way, for sending that. Copy. I don't know. I think I'm going to take some time and do another run through of the affidavit and see what I think at that point. There is the video I was telling you guys about in the chat if you want to go check that out. I seek out the info on Shanquilla. You're right. It's not covered to this degree. No, not at all. I'll have to look into that and see if there's what's happening. I don't really know all the details. You know, Anna Walsh. Yes. Yep. Do you think Bryan K had the vegan balls to kill his father and mother? No, but I do think, you know, we've seen that he said that he has no feelings and emotion for them at times. I think he was really struggling as a kid. Unfortunately, could it have been different if he would have gotten the right mental health care? I mean, he was literally begging and crying for it. In 2011. So 12 years ago, he's 28. He was 16 years old. You know? Guess it seems odd in my mind because why not just fly BK home for the break? Wouldn't that clearly be more cost effective? I know. I don't know. Okay, you guys. I'm going to let you guys go. Yes, Teresa. You were looking into it last night. I hope that you're going to cover it some. And by the way, call me in a little bit. Otherwise, I'm going to let you guys go. I love you. I appreciate you. Thank you for being here. Sorry, it was such a freaking mess today. That is who I am. Literally, I drop my phone on concrete daily. I run into stuff, forget everything, drop stuff. I'm always late. I don't say it lightly when I say it's a hot mess express over here because that is the damn truth. So thank you guys for being here to listen and hang out. I really appreciate it. I love you, Nadie. Thank you to my mods. I appreciate all the help. And yeah, I love you guys and I'll see you soon, okay? Bye. Oh, yes. Oh, my gosh, Nadie. By the way, if you guys have not tried Music Melts, musicmelts.com my friend Nadine, she has a business where she sells wax melts, and let me tell you, her scents are so unique. They are so good. They last for so long. It's 10 times better than purchasing them at Walmart or somewhere like that. If you're into that stuff, you should definitely go check it out. And I have a code that gives everyone 20% off. It's tie-dyed kindness. I don't earn from it. I'm not telling you because I earn from it. It's literally just something I love, believe in, and I believe in my friend. So definitely check it out if you guys get the opportunity. And then, yeah, Nadine, thank you for that box. I cannot believe it. Bentley's wanting to use one like here in just a few minutes. I'm going to let him. So I'll let you know. Thank you, Clary. All right, you guys. Thank you, Eris. I love you all. Hope you have a great night, and I'll see you soon, okay? Bye.